A really good example of that. So I worked on a project a couple of years ago with a retailer, and it was the first time I'd been exposed to the executive leadership of the board. So the COO and the CFO are sitting in a room, and they are concerned about business resilience, and their biggest concern was ransomware. And it was interesting because it's the first time we could go, well, what makes your business tick? These 6 things. So not the 4,000 servers, these 6 things, these services that are supported by some infrastructure. Well, okay, well, we'll prove whether you can sustain a ransomware attack. Let's explode it. Let's do it. Right, how quick would we get to it? How quick would you detect it? How quick would you be able to contain it? And is that within your risk appetite? And it was wonderful because actually if I'd asked the CISO or I'd asked the head of IT or the apps director, what are the 6 things that make the difference to your organization, I'd have got 3 different answers.
Yeah.
So getting it from the top was all of a sudden a business engaged conversation where they track, their biggest complaint with us was we were speaking a different language.
Yeah.
So once we got into the business language,
and they're bought into that taxonomy, they got it.
And then we agreed on metrification and said, okay, well, we then exploded, a material attack inside their organization and proved within hours we got the keys to the kingdom, and within a few more hours we were able to terminate their services. We then had the conversation, how would you recover? And actually what that did is drive a program from the business and the executive leadership and change the way they were approaching risk management. Right? And they moved to an evidential model rather than an ethereal model. They spent a lot of money on technology, but it was evidential. We have this problem. Do we still have the problem?
From your guys' perspective, why are Acora different?
For me, one of the learnings I had about 4 or 5 years ago is I was always in a customer out of sync with their strategy. Security was the afterthought. I'm running a transformation program and I'm going to move my core ERP into the cloud, and I will get security involved halfway through the process.
Yeah, or towards the end for sign-off.
Yeah, and do an attestation that it is secure.
Yeah.
And, we then work through a process of here's a SAM and here's a service catalog. Then you sit there and go, so every time they do something, we've got to write a SAL, we've got to do a thing. It's too disjointed. So, the collaboration with Citreno is about being in sync with an organization and flatlining costs.
Yeah, so you want to be able to predict rather than going cap in hand all the time.
And go to subscription, right? If you think about what we're talking about engineering to an outcome that we then assure. Right, so this collaboration says to me, we've done a few of these very recently where we sit with the CIO, we sit with the CEO, the managing partner. But where are you going in the next couple of years? Well, the big transformation things you're doing. Okay, so we understand your business horizon. Now, how do we get in sync the security flow, but similarly the architectural flow? Because if we architect risk out and we architect, detect, respond, contain, etc. we're in a position where we're in sync and constantly evolving, and it's demonstrable. So I think that the whole purpose of this collaboration is to flatline it commercially and be in sync with an organization to engineer the outcomes.
My first experience with Simon and with Acora was extremely refreshing and kind of plays to why Acora is different, because when we were building Chronicle, it was a very economically compelling value proposition. You have a system that was built on Google bare metals with very good economics. And so the lazy way to do it is just go, it's cheaper, right? Yeah. That was somehow the obvious way. And when we met Simon, he didn't go about it with just it's just cheaper. He went about it with, that means more data. Right, that means I can do more. That was that intrinsic curiosity that really propagated in the culture going forward, that drives these conversations on a continual basis. How can we do more? How can we do something specific to this sector? How can we do something specific to these customers, these applications, this risk profile? Our customer has to do a manual thing to look at their crown jewels. How do we make it automated? That is the type of discipline that Acora has in their interactions with customers, and that's, I think, the exciting thing about our partnership.